This week on Almost Punk Podcast, we interview Mike Wiebe, lead singer of Drakulas and the Riverboat Gamblers. He's also in the High Tension Wires and Ghost Knife. Does comedy, some acting, writing, podcasting. The man does it all. We talk about releasing the Dracula's new album, Terminal Amusements, the Riverboat Gamblers live with Orchestra EP in the middle of a global pandemic. There's an upcoming Dracula 7-inch on Drunk Dial Records, playing punk rock bowling in 2021, a possible solo album, the next Riverboat Gamblers tour, getting a cameo from Sidbad, declining mental health, social media exhaustion, live streaming, and the future of concerts, waiting for the rapture, and finding things to do while cooped up at home. This is Almost Punk Podcast. Yeah! All right, we're live with Almost Punk Podcast. Yay! We got Mike Wiebe in the studio. That's how we call it.
Yeah, it's every home office is now a studio and a workout room, and yeah, it's my studio. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to mine. I did have to clear off some clutter before joining this.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. How's it going?
It's going. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to. It's the best it can be going, pretty much, I guess.
Yeah, you released the Dracula's album. It seemed like the first week of the pandemic, I think it was, right?
Yeah. You know that those records it was planned out forever to come out that week, and then. But I will say, like, I can't entirely complain because everybody that wanted to put a record out after, that time, after April is dealing with whether they put it out or not. We were kind of on the fence about it, but we had done a tour. We're really lucky because we got to do a tour like in the last 2 weeks of February, which originally the record was going to come out then, and then it got delayed. But there was a moment where like, well, do we move the tour around? We're like, no, let's just do it. And I'm just so happy we did that tour. I'm just feel super lucky we got to squeeze that in right before the record came out.
I am so happy about that too, because that was second to the last show I saw before there was no more shows. Yeah, I saw you guys at Bottom of the Hill in San Francisco. It was like a Sunday night show. It was really fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then we saw Refused after that, and that was like in March, and that was it. After that, there hasn't been. I've been watching live streams, but not the same.
Yeah, I know, right? Where did Refuse play at?
It was at some UC theater or something in Berkeley. It was like a venue I've never been to before, but it was cool. Wow. And it was weird because it was like at that time people were talking, like COVID was a thing, but you didn't like, it was like, you were just sanitizing your hands a lot. And then like the week after that, all of a sudden like California started to shut down. So it was like really the last two shows I saw, and then it was like no more.
Yeah. I mean, both Drakulas and Gamblers had South by Southwest plans, and then they canceled South by, but there was still like a real heavy movement in Austin of like, well, yeah, international stuff is done, but we should all still do local stuff because bartenders just can at least scrape by, and for like for like 4 days we were like, okay, well, we'll still do our shows, and then it just kind of got to a point where it was like, we're not going to do it, and then it was like official, like nobody's doing anything. But it's funny, back in the day when I was a youth, I feel like there was a lot of shows that came through and played at local colleges. And I don't know that that's the case so much in the past, but now with all the clubs closing down, I feel like that might be a thing again, like these venues, because whatever the venues that exist at a college are still going to exist. They're not like beholden to like making money for this last 6 months. So I wonder if like, I remember seeing like Bad Religion at College of UNM in like 1993 or something like that, and stuff. I wonder if that'll be a thing, that like mid-sized to smaller bands will go hit colleges again, because those venues still exist.
That's That's true.
Have you been able to even keep in contact with your Dracula's bandmates or your Riverboat Gamblers bandmates?
Yeah, we're on, there's a text group threads where we make fun of stuff and make fun of each other and send each other pornographic photos that are making fun of things. And then me and Zach, Zach and from Drakulas, we've been working on a lot of music together, and then me and Ian from the Gamblers have been sending music back and forth. And I think we were just texting today about trying to do some kind of, I don't know, acoustic, I don't know, some kind of thing at some point soon, and just put it up on, can't remember what it's called. It's like Stage It or something.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of it yet. Yeah, Stage It. So
I
we'll
have
see.
watched a couple live performances on there.
Is it cool? I mean, it's live performance.
It's
There's that
cool.
weird dead spot. Yeah.
It has a chat, so you can kind of interact with other people and feel like you're not just at home alone for the rest of your life. And then people can tip bands, and I think all those shows I've seen so far, you had to pay like $5 or $10, and then people can like tip the band. So it's something. It's definitely something better to do than continuing watching Netflix for me.
Yeah, totally.
Fan.
I don't. The goal is, I don't think, is not for us to make money or anything. It was just to like get together and do something. And then, but I'm doing like, I'm doing like a Zoom thing on Friday tomorrow. Wow. With like, it's like a talk show with David Yao from Jesus Lizard is on, and Raymond Pettibone I think is going to be on. So that'll be fun. But it's weird. It's weird to have not been on stage for this long. It's the most I've not been on stage since, I don't even know, like probably since I, started playing music when I was like 20 or something.
It's like 20 years of being on stage, basically.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. I mean, maybe the most I've ever gone since then is a month. And so this is super weird I miss it. I need attention. The beast needs to get fed.
What can you do to promote your new album now that you can't go anywhere?
Yeah, I tried to be I was really online about it for a couple months, but that was kind of it. We had a couple videos in our back pocket, and but so yeah, it's weird. It was, I was really online about it for a while, but I think like I have some ideas to shoot some more video stuff, but I mean, nothing, there's the only way to like promote anything is like, really the best way is touring, like it's always been the best way it just kind of, it facilitates people talking about stuff, and it's just always been the best way that I've ever known. But so I don't know, other than just to kind of like go, well, that's it stings a little bit less because it's happening to everybody, and we're all having to push the pause button, and roughly I think that everybody will let go of the pause button at the same time, at least. So
you mentioned that you've been talking about you're getting in contact with the Riverboat Gamblers guys. Are you guys gonna put out a new album anytime, assuming the world moves forward? Let's say 2021. New album?
Yeah, I mean, some stars have to align with people's schedules and stuff, and it's that weird thing too that you read a lot about now. Like there was like a couple weeks was like, oh man, we'll just be able to bust, not going out anymore. We'll have plenty of time to do stuff, but it's weird. Like I'm just kind of busier than I was before. My day job takes longer to do from home, and it's weird. It's just been such a weird thing. So, but I know like everybody's just kind of spread out and doing stuff. So it's a real slow process. We don't have like a deadline or anything. So we're just like kind of pushing each other music here and there and stuff. So it's built for a while, but it's been a couple years of building. So eventually there'll be a new record. I don't know when, but especially now with everything going on, I have no idea when.
That's really exciting for us. We watched you guys at the punk rock bowling back in the day in Vegas. We've seen you guys play there a couple of times. It's always like a really awesome part of punk rock bowling for us. And then we watched the live stream this year. Just wondering if you had any like backstage stories for us, like how much notice did bands get to do it? It seemed like it was like we've been talking about how every live stream and like fake festival we've watched has just been such a mix. Everything from like lots of production, several camera angles, to just like people sitting in bed.
No, I mean, they gave us some, but I think like a lot of those bands on there, like, you know, everybody was kind of figuring it out. So the way we did it is we all recorded our tracks to GarageBand, and it wasn't live. We did it ahead of time, and then we shipped and we all did it from our individual spaces. And then we sent the tracks over to our buddy Stuart, who did the last Gamblers record and the last Dracula's record. Stuart Sykes. He won a Grammy for mixing the Loretta Lynn Jack White record.
Wow.
And he just mixed it like the GarageBand files. But he's so good at it that like I thought it came out sounding pretty good despite being GarageBand. And then and so the footage was us recording some of those stuff, although I did take a couple passes at mine, and there's some edits, and not that we were trying to pretend that it was like live or whatever, but we just didn't want it to sound like garbage, or I didn't want my part to sound like garbage. But I mean, those guys didn't either, but like there was no question, like those guys are super good, so it was just gonna sound good like the first go through for them. But I was like, I haven't sung in a minute. But yeah, no, the live stream thing is super weird. Like, you know, like I was watching the Dickies do a Facebook, and it was cool in that like I was randomly watching the Dickies. But it's that weird thing of like between songs where it's just like dead silence, and you're just like, I'm not used to hearing even on TV like dead silence between bands. It's weird.
Yeah. And then for to promote the new Drakulas album, you hired Sinbad to do a cameo, and we're just talking about cameos on our last episode. And then I feel like this past week, I've seen a lot more people I follow, like for some reason, have recently joined Cameo. I don't know. It seemed like it was a little more mainstream for a while, and now it's like everything because nobody has a way to make money if they're a creative.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just curious how that came about, and did you consider other celebrities to promote?
It's always been Sinbad from the moment of conception. It was Sinbad.
Wrote the album for him.
Actually, there was like the name like a very early probably genesis of the name Sinbad, or the name Drakulas, came from Sinbad used to do a joke about getting chased by Dracula, and it's just a very silly joke. And then later there was like an episode of Saturday Night Live where they were kind of like, it was Bobby Moynihan was doing a character, and it just like cut to the punchline of the joke, and the punchline was, and if a Dracula is chasing you, turn around and trip the bitch. And for whatever reason, that was just like a thing we said for a long time. But so that was kind of the genesis of the name. So it was I don't know. I not ironically love Sinbad. Like he's all clean, but it doesn't really matter. He's just a great comic. But and it's funny, I actually did a couple like I'm not on Cameo, the official thing, but some people like hit me up and were just like, hey, I've got a friend who's 2 birthdays actually, and I did like 2 today, and not for like money, just like, hey, it's like a friend of a friend or whatever, and I just put on Dracula's outfit and cussed and stuff. But yeah, it is really it did go from like initially like Cameo it was like it was really like kind of B-list, C-list celebs, and now it's like kind of there's a bunch of like people that are just on it, just, you know, and I think that, and people that even like, I guess they don't even, I mean, it's probably nice that they get an extra, you know, 50 to 200 bucks a week, but they're rich. And it seems like, I think they just kind of like being able to like give people a birthday wish or whatever, you know, because that's 90% of what it is buying a goofy birthday wish for somebody. So yeah, it is easy to do. Definitely doing it. I was just like, man, I don't think anybody knew. I do, I do comedy too, and I have these two characters that me and my friend Avery do, where we're these like we pretend to be these married Christian youth ministers, and we've done some videos and stuff like that. It's called the McEwens, and we were actually talking like we should do I don't know if it's popular enough to get too many people, but it's the perfect thing to do cameo for, where it's so stupid, and maybe we'll just do it and we charge people like $3 or something. Something stupid, ridiculously cheap.
As a recipient of a cameo this week, it's like everything sucks right now, so anything that can make you smile for even like a minute is worth it. And I think cameo is almost becoming the new mental health care system in America, because I'm seeing all these like pep talks, and like basically people are trying to buy them for their friends who are like really bummed about like people are dying, and you know, people are losing their jobs and stuff. And I'm like, we don't need to invest into mental health. We just buy a cameo for your friend. They don't have to go to therapy anymore. It's great. Yeah.
Well, like the CDC is like, it's crazy. Like mental health is in like a serious decline. So like, even if you have insurance, like you might have a lot of trouble finding help right now because the waiting lists are so long.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then you have to do it over Zoom also, which is
super weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Everything's on Zoom or whatever.
I'm really good at it though. I can cry anywhere. So.
And then you were also doing a podcast, The Contrarian Court. Are you still doing that, or what's kind of the status with that?
Yeah. No, we kind of like my partner kind of got real busy with life stuff. He's a lawyer and got super busy. But me and Zach from Rise Against and Drakulas and stuff, we just started one. It's not up yet. It's called The Three Things, and we're just gonna like reach out to people and talk about three things that either they're really into right now or that got them into doing whatever they do. Just kind of three major, you know, usually like movies or bands or music or books or whatever. We're guessing. We just started, so we're kind of like we did a pilot episode, and we're like shopping it around to some people, and working out the kinks on our own too. We're gonna keep doing it, but yeah, we plan to have that up like I'm thinking October sometime.
Cool. Is it inspired by the improv game, The Three Things?
Oh, I'm not familiar with the improv.
Oh, I've learned it in improv. It's like you do three things and give somebody a topic, and they have to name three things.
Oh wow! Well, maybe we'll get some UCB leftovers that'll come to us. I had no idea. I probably ought to make sure that there's not a podcast that's already titled that already.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a known game or it was just the one teacher.
Yeah, I did improv like I've done like 2 introductory improv classes, and I've always wanted to do more with it. I'd never really until now, and there's no classes to go to. I've never had a life schedule that was consistent enough to like, you know that I have like Friday night at 5 off or whatever, because there's always, you know, every other week there's a show or whatever, or I'm out of town or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Olga, that was like your favorite thing for a while.
I know. I was obsessed with that game. I for like a couple of weeks.
You should start doing now. What was it? I can't remember how you did it, but you were like,
it would just be like, it would be like 3 things, and then you go like shoes, and then somebody has to name like 3 types of shoe, or like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's try it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Start.
Okay. Drinks.
Jolt Cola, Bud Light, and Kevin Costner's urine.
Those are good. Those are good. 3 things. Somebody else pick a topic.
Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't know the order we were going.
I don't know the order either. We're improving. You're supposed to make your partner look good.
I didn't take the course. Okay.
I used to get free improv classes at a job, so I would just take them because it was either that or working.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
we talked about doing that at my job. You know, a lot of things have changed in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
A lot of plans. But I never saw myself as working from home all the time.
Same.
And I still haven't quite got used to it yet, but
It is weird.
weird.
How are you staying sane-ish during this time? Any recommendations or things you're enjoying?
I don't know. I think that I don't know that I've stayed sane. I think I've flitted in and out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching the boob tube a lot, TV. I'm watching trying to catch, but I actually right after this podcast, I've got me and there's a group of us friends. One of the guys in the Mark Men. I don't know if you know that band, the Mark Men. They're really great. We get together through Zoom, and we like have Zoom on one screen, and then on the other we will all like watch a movie at the same time, and it's usually something kind of weird and obscure that most of us haven't seen, and usually kind of exploitation-y B-movie kind of style. But so that's been cool. That's something I look forward to every week. Like that's like kind of like the one constant cool thing I get to do every week. And writing music here and there. I've picked up playing video games for the first time really in years and years, which is like, and I always was so busy that like when I would take time to play them, I'd feel really guilty and feel like, oh, I should have been working on this and that, but I've felt less guilty about it this time. But yeah, I don't know. It's that weird thing of like, there's some podcasts that I listen to that I just really look forward to every single week. This podcast called the World Record Podcast that this guy Brendan Walsh does as comedian. It's just real dumb and stupid, and it's not political, and it's not at all like, it's just like prank calls, and it's super funny. Yeah, it's just these weird little things. I care more about meals now, where it used to be like meals were just like a thing that I did real quick to go in between 2 other things, and now there's a little bit more like pomp and circumstance about like, what am I going to eat tonight, you know?
Are you making?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
What are you cooking?
Yeah. What's tonight?
Yeah.
What's for dinner?
Tonight, well, my wife cooked it. I have it here.
Ooh.
And turkey meatballs and some green beans and some rice, and it's delicious.
It looks
I'm lucky
fancy.
she's a real good cook. So
yeah. And I have a question for you. We've seen you guys a lot of times, and you're so energetic. How do you keep up the energy? I want to know the secret.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably a little bit of like staying in shape, which I've fallen off of really hard in quarantine. But now that the weather's getting cooler, I'm gonna start jogging again. But you know, a lot of being on the road for me is like you're just lying in a van all day, you know, and then you kind of sleepily load into so it's really just, I look at it as just like, I just need to be as much as I can be for that, like, you know, half hour to hour period. And but there's a lot of just like pent up, like, you know, it's all just storing up for that half hour, you know. And and so it's just fun. It's the best part of the day. It's the one thing, it's my favorite thing to do. And so it's just easy to kind of get excited about it.
Well, what do you got going on next? What's like the next thing that you're actually going to be able to do when you're able to do it?
The next, like, yeah, no, totally. I mean, you know, other than, I mean, in the interim right now, there's the new podcast. There's working on new Dracula. We're actually working on a new 7-inch that's going to be kind of a lo-fi thing on Drunk Dial Records, and slowly working on some solo material. Maybe, I don't know what it is. I've got a bunch of songs that don't really fit any band that I do, and I'd like to try and record them. But if they're garbage, I'll just nix that. So, you know, if you never hear it, because
when you
garbage.
say they don't fit into anything that you've been doing, what do you think, or what would you say, or how would you describe it?
Kind of, what's the word? They're kind of mellow and dreamy sounding, and indie. They're kind of like, they sound like more sort of like a dreamy indie kind of stuff, in filtered through me. Like, I'm sure, like, I say that and you listen to it and go, it sounds like the same old crap you do. But in my head, it's you know, more in that direction. But the next thing we have like booked is punk rock bowling in May. Both Drakulas and Gamblers are, you know, we're committed to doing it. And I don't know, I think like most of the bands that were gonna do it, you know, I think all the bands that were supposed to do it this last May were invited back. I don't know who is, you know, schedule wise, who's gonna make it. That's what I've heard. I just know that we're scheduled to do it, and but you know, it's also just see what happens, sort of, you know, like I'm planning on doing that and doing a Dracula's tour. Like, I was talking to our booking agent, like, Gamblers guys will fly out there, but Dracula's will do like our plan is to do, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks around that tour. We'll probably start there, and then just drive out and do the Midwest, I think. But it all feels so far away right now. It feels like, you know, I think it'll happen. I'm hopeful, but there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of things that I've planned on this year that are it's not gonna, you know. We'll see. Hopefully the world won't be on fire. We won't be scavenging for food. This is my scavenging for food and
you're ready for it.
Terminator robots outfit.
Apocalypse.
So I'm ready if that scenario does happen. I want to be prepared for both, you know, both the time where I learned to eat out of old cans of looted dog food, and also be ready to sing my little heart out on stage. So it's a lot of work to both learn how to skin a buck, run a trout line, on top of remember all these song lyrics.
I almost forgot. Riverboat Gamblers with Orchestra. That came out right at the start of the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
Or just right before, right after. And what was the story there? Like, how did that come about?
We actually shot that and recorded it a couple years prior at South by, and it was the year that I collapsed my lung. I think a couple days later, I like fell off a stage and collapsed my lung because I'm a professional. But I guess we sort of like edited that video and worked on it for a while. Like, me and a buddy edited it, and we got it done, and then we're like, okay, well, let's wait to release it until the Gamblers have, I don't know, there was something we were going to release it around, and then that fell through. We're like, well, we'll wait till release it when I don't know, there was some reason. We thought we were going to have a big reason to release it, or something else to promote alongside it or something. And then the next thing I knew, it was like 2 years later, and we were like, oh, we never released this. And they're like, well, this is just something to do right now. But yeah, that was this thing called the Panoramic Voices Orchestra, and they did. There was like 3 other bands, but they do it every year. They did it, like, I saw it, like, not. They always do it around South by Southwest. So the last one got canceled, but the year before they did like Rocky Erickson before he passed away. I got to see him do songs with them, which was awesome and a cool last way to see him. And A Giant Dog, who are, I don't know if you're familiar with, they were supposed to play punk rock bowling too. They are so good. And I can't recommend that band enough. But I saw them do it with the Panoramic Voices, and yeah, it's just a super cool thing that they do. It was the best. It was so cool. Yeah, we released those songs too on Bandcamp as well, that you can
cool.
get the Bandcamp.
So you were waiting for a good reason, and then the world started to end. That's
Yeah,
yeah. You were just like waiting for a really big
Yes, we were waiting for the rapture to happen.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, well, I think the time is now before we all die. Yeah. No, I think that's good.
Yeah, we saw that a lot of the Christians had just, their bodies had disappeared and their clothes were left right where they were standing. We realized, wow, well, we've got a few years until, I don't know what the next thing happens, but I'm sure there's some. Until the beast with 7 heads descends upon the land, and fire-breathing takes over, and demons come and gnash us with their teeth.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get that out before all that, before everyone was tied up and being tortured by demons.
It's a good marketing strategy. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. We wanted to provide the soundtrack to demonic torture.
Yep. And then, I mean, it sounds like the Dracula's release is just, what started the current events. Really, it's
Dracula's really started it, and then the Gamblers would, just followed it right back up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess before we wrap up, anything you want to mention where people should be looking up your stuff, looking for your podcast, music, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just I'm if you go at Mike Wiebe on Twitter, or I think it's RS Mike Wiebe on Instagram, I will funnel all the projects through those two things. I did take the last 2 months off of social media, and it was healthy for my brain ball. And I'm trying to approach it in a less. I'm trying to approach it and not be, because man, it can really start to mess with your brain after a while, So I'm trying to not be as heavily onto it, but I do like writing jokes. But god damn, if I didn't get on Facebook today and see some guy saying that Pelosi forced Trump to lie about whatever. We don't need to get into that. But it was just this dumb thing where I immediately wanted to go how, you just immediately see this insanity and you just want to argue. And I just know that's just a complete waste of energy. But I get just riled up at some metalhead with a Confederate flag in his background. I'm I don't need to be, I'm not going to change this guy's mind.
Yeah.
He's on so much meth right now. He can't even remember what he's arguing, but
he's back. Hello. It was great because it paused you, but you were like possessed. It was great. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I was faking it too. I was really just.
You're just holding that. Nice. That's impressive. It was a good fake.
It walks by in the background. Really.
Yeah. Both of us fell for it. So, but yeah, thank you so much for chatting with us. And yeah, everyone should go follow you on Twitter and on Instagram, and we will put the links in the show notes. And yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy your movie.
I will. I think we're watching a made-for-TV horror movie starring the little boy from Poltergeist and Valerie Harper from Valerie's Family. I didn't expect enthusiasm, so I appreciate you not faking it.
Thank you so much.
You guys have a great one.
Out. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.